In the next video, I'm gonna talk about how to modeling this stony glass, but for now, I want to teach you the different type of viewing our object in 3D viewport. In Blender, you have four type of viewing your object, and if you go to the top right, you can see four circle here. And the active one is this default one, and we call this solid. And if I hover on the circle, you can see that at the bottom it writes display in solid mode. And the solid mode is this gray material that all of your object will have if you select solid mode. The other type of viewing is when you want to only see the edges of your object but not the surface. So if I change it to the wireframe, you can see that the only thing that I see right now, I see the edge, and I also can see behind my object. Sometimes that you are modeling, you accidentally deactivate this icon, and if I deactivate this icon, you can see that I cannot see behind my object. So be careful to always, if you want to see behind your object, always activate this one. Okay. And the third option is for the material preview, and when I click on it, you can see the material preview of your object based on the material that you assign to it. But since I didn't assign any material to my glass, it gonna looks like white. So in this video, I'm gonna teach you a little about how to assign a material to your object, so in future you can assign any material with any color you like to your object. For a start, you need to select your object so that it become orange around your object, and then come here on the circle, and you can see that it writes material, and if I click on material, this is the window that we have. But as you can see, it's empty, so every time you want to add a material to your object, you need to select on new, and if I select new, a new material is gonna be created. But it's still white because the default material is white. And if I change it to the, for example, something else, the color is gonna change. Also, you need to change the name of your material because it's gonna be material 1, 2, 3, and it's not really a nice practice. So for example, I'm gonna change the name to the stone, for example. So this is how we create a new material. If you want to delete a material, you can either click on this icon, and if you want to add material to your object again, you can either create a new material, or if you want to use the material that you already created, you can first click on the plus button, and then from here you can, for example, click a stone, and you can see that my material is back. If you want to duplicate a material, for example, I want 2 shades of this material, I can click on this one and it duplicate my material, and I, for example, write darker stone. Okay, so if I click here, you can see all the material that I have, and a darker stone and a stone is created. And then if you want to delete your material, you can click on delete and or back it again. Now every material have a lot of properties, and you can see that it's a really long properties, and we're not gonna talking about them. But the essential values that you need to learn for now is first the base color, and every time you change the color based on RGB, HSV, or hex, the color of your object is gonna change. The other value is metallic, and metallic is whether your object is metallic or not. If it's metallic, you put it 1, and you can see that if I put it 1, my glass has a feeling of metallic, and if it's not metallic, you put it 0. The roughness is the amount of light that the surface of your object is gonna reflect. If the roughness is really high, your object is not gonna reflect any light. But if the roughness of your material is really low, you can see that my object is gonna reflect light a lot. Okay, so for now, just learn these three value: base color for color, metallic for whether your material is metallic or not, and roughness for the amount of smoothness that your surface has. Because the more smooth it is, it's gonna reflect more light from the environment. And you can also assign two material, for example, to your object. For example, if I click on my object, go to the edit mode, and for example in face mode select on these faces, I, I can also add another material and then come here and darker stone. And if right now nothing happened, but if I change the darkness of my material and it's a darker brown, if while the face selected I click on assign, you can see that these faces are gonna be a darker brown because this is the material that these faces assign. And you can also select all the faces of each material. For example, if I click on this material and press select, it's gonna select these faces. And if I click on this one and press select, it's gonna, let me deselect first and select, it's gonna select this one. You can also sometimes use it for deselecting. For example, I want to select this part, but I want to deselect these browny faces. So I select on deselect, and the only thing that remains is this face. And I think it's really more than enough for now. And the last circle is rendering, and if I click on render preview, you can see that it's dark because we don't have any light in our scene. And since I don't assign any light in my scene, it's gonna show me a dark object because there is no light in my scene. So the solid preview have some setting that I think it's not bad for you to learn. And if I select on solid and then come here and select on this arrow, you can see that there are some settings from the studio. If you click on this sphere and change this circle, you can see that the type of lighting that I have is gonna change, and it's based on your preference and which one do you like. The matte cap is gonna change the material of your object. For example, if I select any one of them, you can see that default material of the solid preview is gonna change. And flat is mostly for silhouette, and if I back to the object mode, you can see that the only thing that I can see is the object silhouette, and it's not really very useful. So for now I'm gonna put it on a studio. And if you like to see the edges of your object in object mode, you can come to the overlay menu and activate from the geometry, activate the wireframe, and you can see all the edges of my object. And the last option that I'm gonna tell you is this statistic option. And if I activate the statistic, you can see all the number of our object vertices, edges, and face and triangles is gonna be displayed on this part. In the next video, we're gonna start modeling this glass.